color. So, you know, thinking blue-green. Did you get that? I'm Aaron Westerberg, and I'm an oil painter, and I'm going to talk to you today about doing a color study. I have some color studies right here I'll show you, but I always do a color study before I start a larger work. I have a few rules that I follow when I do a color study. I don't want any details. I want only big shapes, no features, no fingers, no toes, but I want everything else to be accurate in terms of the color, the composition, and the values. And values are the light or darkness of a color shape. This one that I'm working on right now is a little color study for this painting. And you can see the values are all pretty dark except for the face and the hand and some of the pattern on her kimono. Those have to be exactly right. I want to try to get those as close to what they're going to look like in the larger painting as possible. Because I don't want to run into any surprises, any tangencies, any things that are going to give me a hard time, basically. So I always do one of these before I start a larger work. Here's some other ones, and you can see the same thing. There's really no features drawn on all these. Some kind of has hands, but no real detail, just big abstract shapes. You know, I'm just looking for the big pattern. And by pattern, I just mean the lightness or darkness of the color or value shapes. So, you know, this is light, this is lighter than that, you know, this is lighter than that. Those things all have to be accurate at this stage before I move on to the larger one. And if it's not, I'll, you know, problem solve. I'll try to figure out a solution to it, or maybe I'll just do a different composition. So I want her skin to be pretty smooth. So I'm going to contrast that by making the background a little bit thicker and rougher, because that'll make the smooth skin look smoother, okay? So I'm always thinking about that and just how much paint is on each area, you know, because I want, you know, thin areas next to thick areas. Okay, so this is my plein air kit. This is all of the things I'm going to take with me today when I'm painting outside. So to start, these are Trekell lead prime panels. Those are the best. I can't get enough of them. Sunscreen, very important. These are all my brushes, palette knife, 2 different size palette knives, palette scraper. I have a glass palette. These are all the colors I'm going to use. Sketchbook, okay. I tied a pencil on there so I don't lose it. This is an open M box palette and backpack. 2 different kinds of hats. There's a beanie and there's another hat I got at REI that works really well. Tripod and paper towels. So right now, before I go outside, I'm going to key my canvas. And what that means is I'm basically going to tint the white canvas with a light color of what, you know, I'm going to be painting later. And I already, you know, I know what I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint something at the beach, you know, the ocean, some clouds, something like that's what I'm going for with the keying, you know, not really any darker than that. You can kind of tell how dark it is compared to white right there. But that to me is already interesting, so I'm going to build on that interest outside. So I'm out here, I'm set up, and it's very overcast today, so there's going to be a diminished amount of color with what we're painting, you know, no blue sky. So it's much more atmospheric, much more, you know, we're going to have a lot of softer edges. I want to convey, you know, how I feel about, you know, this weather condition. So, and I want to convey the weather condition. So I want to try to get some of that atmospheric perspective between, you know, the shoreline, the harbor break, and the islands out there. Use that to show distance. But, okay, so I'm going to start.